Picture this. You're at a crowded party, laughter bouncing off the walls, people huddled in groups like they've known each other forever, and you're standing there with a drink in your hand, smiling politely, but inside you feel like you're watching life through glass. Not because you hate people, not because you're awkward, but because something about most social connection feels strangely empty. Later that night, you go home, and the silence feels more comforting than the noise ever did. And you start wondering, why do I have so few friends? Why does everyone else seem to collect friendships so easily? Here's the truth psychology rarely explains properly. Having few or no friends is not always a sign of social failure. In many cases, it's the side effect of rare personality traits that make you different, not defective. Most people are built for constant social contact, casual bonding, and wide networks, but some minds operate on a different frequency. And today, we're going to break down the traits that often show up in people who walk alone, not because they can't connect, but because they refuse to connect cheaply. So let's start with number 1. You have an unusually high sensitivity to authenticity. You can sense when someone is performing instead of being real. Your brain picks up microsignals, forced laughter, fake politeness, hidden motives, and it makes shallow environments feel exhausting. Most people tolerate social masks because it keeps things smooth, but you can't unsee them. That's why you'd rather have no friends than be surrounded by people who don't feel genuine. Number 2, you crave depth faster than most people can offer. Friendships for the average person begin with repetition, jokes, surface talk, shared routines, but your mind doesn't bond through small talk. You bond through meaning. You want conversations that go somewhere. You want to talk about fears, ideas, human nature, the real stuff underneath life. And because that level of connection is rare, your circle becomes small by default. Number 3, you are mentally self-sufficient. You don't need constant stimulation from others. You can sit alone with your thoughts for hours and feel fine. Psychologists sometimes call this low social dependency. It means you don't rely on external validation to feel alive. And while that is a strength, it also means you don't chase friendships out of boredom or insecurity like many people do. Number 4, your nervous system gets socially overstimulated. Some people leave conversations energized. You leave them drained. Not because you dislike people, but because you process everything deeply. Tone, emotion, body language, meaning. Social interaction costs you more mental energy, so you become selective with it. You don't have fewer friends because you're cold. You have fewer friends because your brain burns brighter in silence. Number 5, you have extremely high standards for who gets access to you. Many people collect acquaintances the way they collect followers, but you treat friendship like a doorway, not an open field. Not everyone gets in. Your trust is slow, deliberate, earned. And this can make you appear distant, but it's actually self-respect. Number 6, you've been shaped by disappointment. People who walk alone often didn't start that way. They learned. Betrayal, exclusion, being misunderstood, growing up around the wrong crowd, these experiences teach the brain to become cautious. Psychology calls this protective filtering. You don't open easily because you know what it costs when trust breaks. Number 7, you are more comfortable observing than participating. In groups, you notice more than you speak. You read dynamics. You sense tension. You pick up what others miss. That awareness is rare, but it can also make you feel separate, like you're watching instead of belonging. Number 8, you value peace over popularity. Many people maintain friendships just to avoid being alone. You don't. You would rather have solitude than constant drama, gossip, and emotional noise. Your loneliness is often not emptiness, it's quiet. Number 9, you have a rich inner world. Some people need others because their mind feels empty without distraction, but your mind is full. Ideas, imagination, reflection, curiosity. That inner depth makes you less dependent on external social life. And number 10, you are wired for rare connection, not frequent connection. You don't want 10 casual friends, you want one real one. Someone you can trust completely, someone who feels like home. And because that kind of bond is uncommon, you may spend long periods alone, not as punishment, but as a natural consequence of being built for depth. So if you have few or no friends, don't immediately assume something is wrong with you. Sometimes it means your mind is more selective, more sensitive, more independent, and more aware than the average social world is designed for. But understanding these traits is only the first step, because the next question is, how do you actually build connection when you're wired this way? Alright, let's continue, because here's the most important part. Rare traits explain why you have few friends, but they don't mean you're destined to stay alone forever. The mistake many deep, selective people make is thinking, this is just who I am, and then turning isolation into identity. But friendship is not about changing your nature. It's about building connection in a way that fits your nature.